Hey guys, so we have been working on a lot of little side projects for the van. We have been doing a lot of sewing, so we started with our window covers. This is what they are. They're nice and friction fit, and they're removable and washable. So we just sewed them so that they open here and we can pull the inside out. And for the inside, we just used Thinsulate. So we cut them all to shape and got them all fit and sewed up. And we did not film that one, but there is a little tutorial on our Instagram profile in our story highlights, so you can go check that out if you're interested in that. I think they turned out pretty good. They just stuff in the window kind of like a pillow. So that's done, but today we are working on our screens. So we've got some nice heavy duty screen material. This is 2 pieces. We already cut them to shape of all the doors, and we cut them pretty much exact to size so that we can just fasten them around the sides of the doors. I already made the 2 back screen doors. We did this in 2 pieces so we can have one section or the other open at one time. It's also much easier to make these in smaller sections. We opted for zippers instead of magnets or Velcro, and they just attach in the door frame with these snaps, making it super easy to pop it in and out. Overall, I'm very happy with how these turned out. You guys, I was so nervous for this project. I was really afraid that they weren't going to look very good, and I'm very proud of how they turned out. So let's get started. First, you need to place your zipper where you want it. We are offsetting this side and cutting it in 12 inches. Then you're going to cut your screen all the way up where your zipper is going to go in. So now we'll have 2 separate pieces we'll be working with. Whichever piece you're using first, you're going to want to place your zipper and pin it as many times as you possibly can. Screen material is very weird, I'm learning, and it will move no matter how many times you pin it. So then you're just going to sew your zipper right onto your screen. And I just lined up the edge of my screen with the edge of the zipper teeth. The zippers we used were extra long, so once I got my screen sewed onto one side, I cut my zipper. So make sure your zipper head is down below where you're cutting so it stays on, and then just cut right through the teeth at the length that you need. So it'll end up looking like this, perfectly lined up with the end of your screen. So now we're going to pin the zipper to the other side of the screen, and like I said before, it's very strange material, so pin as many times as you can and it's still going to move anyway. And then to sew this side, you're just gonna unzip it and then just sew it just like you did the other side, right along the zipper teeth. And full disclosure guys, I'm not a professional. I haven't touched a sewing machine since high school, but this is the only skill that I've used from high school in the real world. So we've got our 2 sides together, so we have a full door now. But you can see here, my screen ended up not lining up. Screen material is very weird, I'm learning. And I pinned it about 4 different times off camera, so I don't know how that happened, but whatever. So how we're gonna fix that is when we put our edging on, I will just keep my edging straight here to line up with this edging, instead of keeping it straight with the screen. So for our edging, we got a couple big rolls of just like nylon strapping, and I just fold it over the edge of the screen like this and sew it. It's pretty basic, pretty easy. The hard part is going around the curves, and then at corners, I kind of fold it like this, which isn't hard either, and I'll show you that when I do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and do this side in all one piece and that side in all one piece. This is much bigger than the two pieces I made for the back already, so I'm not sure how well it's going to work out, but we're gonna go for it anyway. So what I do is I don't even like measure, I just kind of go along here, kind of like this, and just kind of figure out where everything's lining up at. And then I'm gonna come across here. And then I've just been cutting an extra like 5 inches or so. So I'm gonna take this apart to make it easier to do the smaller section. And we'll come back to the big section. And then the edges of the nylon, they will fray really bad. So I have just been melting them just a little bit like that so that they have a nice solid edge on them. And then I'm just going to kind of start placing it. And then for this, I've been using these clamps instead of pins. They're just a little bit easier to work with something this thick and kind of awkward. Okay, so I'll sew this part first, and then I'll show you how I do my corners. Okay, so for the corners, I have sewn this all the way to here, to the end of my corner. So now I'm just going to lay this how I want it against my screen and fold my corners over like that. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna have a nice little angle there. And then while I sew that, I just kind of go down a little bit and clip it there so that everything kind of stays where I need it. And then I'm gonna sew this a bunch of times so that it's nice and strong. So just like that. Now we're gonna go ahead and do this long side. Okay, so you can see right here now, this is curved with the shape of the door. So This part is a little bit tricky. It's very awkward. So I just kind of roll with it. So what I've been doing is just placing a few inches of my edging at a time. And so where it kind of naturally bunches here around the curve, I just send it through the sewing machine and let it sew it like that. So I'm gonna place a few more inches around my curve. Okay, so now we have the rest of our edging here, the extra that we cut. So to finish this off, I'm gonna take my scissors and line it up right with the edge of my scissor, or with my zipper here, and just cut it. And then same thing on the other side, just cut it. So now I have an edge here, but it's gonna fray super easy. So I don't want to melt the zipper, so I'm going to fold my zipper back and just give this a quick flame here. And then same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to sew right here a bunch of times so this is nice and strong, and then save this piece. You're going to use it later. So for my edging on the bigger side, I'm really not even gonna cut it. I'm just gonna leave this ball so that I don't cut too short. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna start over here and just clip it and sew it. Okay, so now we're going to cut our edging. Remember, I'm still attached to the whole spool down here. So now we're we're just gonna cut our edging, same as we did last time. So this was the really big piece, and I did manage to get all the edging done in one piece, and it actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It went pretty smooth. So now I've cut my edge. Just gonna hit it with the lighter really quick. So I'm gonna hit it with the lighter and then sew back and forth right here a bunch of times to make sure that it really stays. All right, so now we've got our two pieces to our screen door. So we're gonna take our zipper, and our zipper end that connects. We're just going to put them together, zip it up. And voila, we have our screen door. So we offset this piece because this is the passenger side where our countertop with our stove is going to be. So if we had centered it, it would zip like behind the countertop. So we didn't want to do that. So we offset this one, and the other one will be offset too. I think it'll be a little more centered, but not quite. So now what we have is we have this little piece, and if you zip this all the way up where you cut your zipper head is gonna fly off. So we don't want that. So what we're gonna do, that piece of the edging that we cut off, we're just going to fold it over the top like this. So it's one solid piece there. So your zipper is gonna stop there. It's not gonna ever fly off. So what I'm gonna do is I'll burn these edges so that they don't fray. See, you can see I'm really frayed there. So I'm gonna burn these edges and then place it where I want it, nice and centered and pretty. And then I'm gonna sew up and down here a bunch of times and then all the way across a bunch of times. There, just like that. And then you can see this is where our screen was a little crooky here, and it straightened right out with the edging. So now we have our finished screen. So now I just have one more to make, and then I can take you outside and Blackhawk and I can show you how we attach the snaps to the screen itself and to the door frame and how we put it in there.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I love.
And just like that, guys, we have 2 finished screen doors. So now I'm gonna take you outside and Blackcock and I will show you how we put in the snaps and attach these to the actual van. What you think? Are you ready to install these bad boys?
Oh yeah.
All right. So what we are using to attach these is we have, I believe they're like marine grade snaps, right?
I don't know, you bought them.
For boats. So it's the snap, the rivet goes like this around the fabric, this screws into the wall, and then they snap like this. So we'll show you. Okay, so to put the hole in the edging, we're using whatever the little poker thingy is.
A punch.
A punch and a torch. We're gonna heat it up and then poke a hole. Just like that. So then we're gonna give Blackhawk the snaps and the rivets.
Biggest thing is remember what side it needs to go on. 'Cause I've almost messed up a couple times. But if you do, you can just drill the back side of the rivet out. So then you gotta make sure your rivet is sandwiched. Use special punch that comes with rivets. Is this a rivet?
I think it's a rivet.
Snap rivet.
I don't know.
I found 3 hammers. Crushes the pin on the back side. Seals this one and you're good to go.
Then we take these little guys, come over here, put these in place where the snaps line up.
I found it the best is to line up one snap and then snap the fabric into place and you can get the other ones lined up a lot easier.
And you can see everything lined up perfectly.
So we just did a couple on the top, that way we could get it hung. Now we're gonna go back while it's hanging and pop more holes in to put more of the snap rivets.
Now we can put it in. Okay. And then we need more of these.
Right into the airbag.
Oh God, please don't. Airbags freak me out. Ta-da! So we did skip a few of the rivets just because we are actually almost out and we want to get the other one up too. So we'll just order another box of those and finish them up. Not too shabby. And actually Blackhawk made a mistake and we can't get the other one on tonight. Babe, you want to tell him what you did?
The one thing I said to watch out for.
What did you do?
Put the snaps on the wrong side.
So we won't be doing that one tonight. So that's all for this one. Let us know if you learned anything, want to do anything different on your own, have any other tips, whatever. Any questions too, always feel free to DM us on Instagram. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on Thursday.